Darkcast Network. The light shines brightest on our indie podcasts.
Warning. The following podcast may occasionally contain strong language and material that is not suitable for all ages. If you are easily offended, it is highly advised that you turn back now. However, if you're a degenerate, welcome, brethren. You've found your home.
Hey listeners, thank you so much for checking out our crossover episode with the Crime Diner and Twisted and Uncorked podcasts. We just wanted to give you a quick disclaimer that we had some audio issues and the audio quality isn't up to its usual standard. However, this crossover was way too good for you to miss, so we hope you enjoy it.
Welcome to the Crime Diner. We are a Jersey podcast, and on the menu is a variety of true crime, cults, mysteries, historical hilarities, and sometimes victim stories. We do this within a Dinner with Friends theme. I'm Nidia.
I'm Dana. I'm Cindy.
And this week we have a crossover episode with the girls of Twisted and Uncorked.
Hi. Hello.
Sorry.
That's us. That's us. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sierra.
And so this week we told a story on their podcast, Twisted Uncorked. And if you want to listen to our story, hop over to their channel and go check it out. But today you get to hear them tell us a story. We're going to be really lazy and just sit back and listen to the show.
Sounds great. We usually start our stories with a fun fact. I have a fun fact for you all, and it is that if you're in Detroit and you drive south, completely south, you'll hit Canada.
Really?
Yep, there's a part of, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but most cities, at least, look like someone spit on a map and was like, that's mine. So there's just a random part of Canada sticking out from, the rest of the place.
If it's in America, that probably is how it was founded. So.
Yeah, probably a bunch of white dudes spit on a map and were like, that one's mine.
That's right. We are historically known to be terrible at geography. So this all makes perfect sense to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Alicia, what's your fun fact?
My fun fact is that Captain Morgan was a real person. The face behind the much-loved rum brand was actually a Welsh privateer who fought against the Spanish along with the English in the Caribbean. His full name was Sir Henry Morgan, and he was knighted by King Charles II.
Wow.
Interesting.
So, funny.
Do you think he stood on that rock? It was like,
you know what? I think that had to have been what happened when he was being knighted. Otherwise, it doesn't count.
Oh, true. Good point. Good point.
Just did the whole pose.
And do you ladies have fun facts for us?
And I do. So in New Jersey, it is actually illegal to slurp your soup. And I am not against that. God.
What?
It is also in the capital of New Jersey, it is illegal to buy or sell pickles on a Sunday. Just in Trenton.
What?
Pickles?
What is their beef with pickles?
Not a clue, but I'm with it too.
I love a good pickle.
I do too.
Really?
It has to be a good one, though. Like, there's some bad pickles.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's part of the dirty dozen.
Pickles are bad. I agree. I'm not a big fan of pickles. Do you guys have a what is that restaurant that's like a barbecue place and it's next to the mall? This not Texas Roadhouse, but the other barbecue place. Oh fuck, I can't think of it. Oh, Famous Dave's. Do you guys have Famous Dave's? Do you know what that is?
It sounds really familiar, but I can't think of where one would be.
It's like a steakhouse barbecue place. They used to like give you like peanuts so you could like eat them and throw the shells on the ground in the restaurant and shit.
Fun.
But we took my son there when he was like, I don't know, 9 or something. He's like, I love pickles so much, but they have like jalapeno pickles there, like very spicy pickles.
Ooh,
So I
I'm
like
in.
pulled all the pickles off my burger and gave them to him. So they were spicy, and he was really mad about it.
Oh, poor
We went to
guy.
dinner the
Why
other
else
night,
do you
and I
have kids if not to mess with them?
think, oh my god! Like truly, it's my one true joy in life.
Oh
So
my
we went to dinner
goodness.
the other night, and I'm like, "Do you want my pickles?" He's like, "I don't trust your pickles."
You
Oh.
have scarred him for life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Working on getting there.
That's funny.
So usually after fun facts on our podcast, we talk about a drink that we have. Usually it's a wine or a sangria. But since we're doing this crossover, on our feed in their episode, we had burgers. And what goes better with burgers than a milkshake? So we made ourselves some boozy milkshakes.
Yes.
The recipe, of course, will be on TikTok, our TikTok, but it's vanilla ice cream with peanut butter screwball whiskey and some chocolate syrup and some Reese's on top. And it's a Reese's milkshake, a boozy Reese's milkshake. It's delicious.
Sierra says
Yeah, so-
Reese's funny, but that's separate aside.
So Cindy makes all of our food and drinks, as you know, and Cindy tried to poison us with whiskey. So we had to go back in for some more ice cream. But I dig peanut butter whiskey. I never had it before.
So good.
We
man.
just got it recently because we did a peanut butter and jelly shot. And it
Oh
was
my god!
Fucking
half
good.
peanut butter whiskey, half like
Concord grape wine.
Concord grape wine. So it like grape juice, basically.
Did it
and
taste
it-
like peanut butter and jelly?
So much like peanut butter jelly. It was weird. It was weird.
It even had like the coolness of the grape wine with like the room temperature peanut butter. Oh, so good.
Yeah. It was good. It's dangerous. Just little
Mhm.
shots. But yeah.
And we mistakenly recorded 2 episodes that day, so do what you will with that.
We've been there, unfortunately.
It's usually at my hand.
Yeah, it's usually Nydia. Well, Cindy likes to give us all of this alcohol, and we just keep drinking it. She
Like
just
the
keeps giving us
goddess that
drinks.
she is.
Yeah.
We also normally start our episode before we even start our episode. We start with a shot.
Yeah, the
What?
tequila shots. Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we start recording, and then we go on to drink some more.
Yeah, it's problematic, honestly.
We like
Sounds
to have fun
dangerous.
on these podcasts, Twisted Humans.
Yeah.
They know what
Nydia,
we
you
do.
always say you're slurring your words too. You never are.
Well, yeah, that's how you know that I've had enough to drink. Well, I'll start shrugging and I'll start mixing up words and keep it moving. But Dana will be like, dude.
I say bro a lot. I get real broy when I drink.
That's so weird.
I'm like, there was an episode during quarantine where I had went quarantine. We had just went into quarantine, and I panicked. So I went to the liquor store and bought us all of these bottles of wine, like a bunch of them.
Oh no.
And so we were recording, and we had opened a bottle and I didn't finish it, and then we opened another one for a different episode. So by the end of that episode, I had drank 2 bottles of wine. And the amount of times I said bro in that episode, I like a piece of me died inside.
Oh my gosh.
And I edited probably 100 of them out. I left
Oh my
so many
gosh.
in. It was really
so
bad.
funny. I do that when I'm writing. I'll get fixated on one word and it's just in every paragraph. So
Oh,
it's fine.
mortifying.
I get stuck on a lot of words in general, and I don't have to be drinking for that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's saying it again.
English is one of the hardest languages.
It's true.
So
I
It's
think
fine.
next
It's
time you
ridiculous.
guys drink a lot, you should make Dana's bro into a drinking game. However much
Oh
she
my
says
god,
it.
you die. You die. You never survive.
We'll listen to an unedited version of the Crime Diner and just play a drinking game.
and just die.
Too funny.
We like to rate our drinks.
Okay.
What
would you rate this out of 10?
Yeah.
What is the rating system?
10 being the best, 1 being the worst.
Well, I have opinions, of course.
Tell us.
I think milk is a dangerous drink. I think milk is a more dangerous drink than the whiskey, if I'm honest with you.
True.
So I have requested lactate that was not provided.
Oh no.
But and so I don't usually love like creamy, milky drinks, but I think the peanut butter and the fact that the drink was so strong, it makes the milk feel like tolerable to me. Like milkshakey is fine. I do like a milkshake, but usually like I might have to kick them out of here,
What would
Right.
your stomach do at that point?
And my stomach has a tendency to go.
Don't die on us, Dana.
I got
You don't-
lactose-free ice cream, so
Oh,
I get
you're
it.
a genius, a true genius. but the flavor of the drink and the chocolate you put all around the edge and whatever, I love it. And I would say this is a solid 7 for me.
All right. What about you,
I'm
Nydia?
going to give this a 6 because as strong as it was, I asked for a spoon because I couldn't, and my throat was burning.
oh my goodness.
But as I was slurping it up, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. As my throat is burning and I'm starting to swoon. And then I was like, okay, maybe I need to give this to somebody. I need to pass it. So it was very, very strong, but I definitely liked it.
Yeah.
Peanut butter whiskey is a dangerous thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a solid 7, maybe solid 7.5. I like it as a dessert. But it's too sweet for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really?
I try to keep it light on the sweets.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Flavor is fantastic.
What
I
would
could
you
see
give
it
this
in
one?
like a burger joint, like a
Yes.
Red
An
Robin or
adults
something.
only burger joint. They should absolutely
Yeah,
have
yeah,
a peanut butter
absolutely.
whiskey milkshake.
There's a burger joint in Nashville, Tennessee. If anyone's ever there, it's actually in the Gulch part of downtown Nashville. It's called Burger Republic, and they have boozy shakes, and they're fucking delicious.
Ooh.
So fun.
I'm gonna give this an 8. Just because I love fucking ice cream. It's so good. But it is really fucking strong. I think I would
Yeah,
use
it's strong.
I think I would either use less alcohol next time or more chocolate. I feel like more chocolate would get rid of
Balance
the
it
alcohol
out.
taste.
Yeah. I don't think
I mean,
vanilla
that's
is quite as
logic.
strong. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good logic.
More chocolate is usually the answer.
Yeah, more chocolate,
true.
or more ice cream, either way.
Yeah.
Always.
It's the answer to all your problems in life. I'm going to
Definitely.
give it the same. I'm going to give it an 8. I followed Sierra's recipe. She boozy. She almost
Mhm.
gone. So I apologize for that. I think it would have been better had my ice cream and drink not disintegrated before I got back to my desk.
Instantly melted in the 90-degree heat.
Yeah, exactly. But very good. I love ice cream. So my husband's
Yeah.
not complaining and he's not a big drinker either. So
Yeah.
Peanut
If
butter
you
whiskey
listeners
for the
want
win.
to taste it and rate it for yourself, check out our TikTok.
Mhm.
What is it? Twisted and Uncorked?
Yes,
what it is on
and yeah. She's like, yeah, I'm not part of this group. It's fine. And as we've all said, maybe a little less peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It won't hurt.
Yeah, but
Okay. Unfortunately,
we're gonna bring
the
it
fun
down
stuff
a
is
notch.
over. We decided to do a round of fast food / food related crimes here, and ours is a doozy. It's a little sad. We are covering today the case of the yogurt shop murders. Have you heard of
Okay.
this?
Oh,
No.
was it a
Okay.
froyo?
It's and I can't believe it's yogurt shop.
Oh.
We don't have those here in Canada. I'm
Never heard.
assuming it's a U.S. chain, or maybe just
I don't-
in the
I've never
place
seen
that
one.
it takes
I've never
place.
heard of it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
It happened in Texas, so it might just be a Texas thing. On December 6th, 1991, 17-year-old Eliza Thomas and 17-year-old Jennifer Harbison were working the closing shift at I Can't Believe It's Yogurt shop in Austin, Texas. With closing time nearing, the girls started to do their closing prep, and Jennifer's sister and friend came in to sit with them while they closed. Jennifer's sister was 15-year-old Sarah Harbison, and her friend was 13-year-old Amy Ayers. The four of them were all going to head home together after they closed. Tragically, the night did not go as planned, and the girls never made it home. A call was reported to the police about a fire coming from the yogurt shop. Initially, it was believed that the shop was set ablaze after a robbery gone wrong, but first responders quickly realized how wrong they were. The officer en route, lead detective John Jones, received a notice of 3 and then 4 young female bodies in the shop. All 4 of the girls had been bound and gagged with their own clothes, shot and killed. Then the place was doused in gasoline and set on fire. The city had never seen a crime quite like it, and it still haunts them to this day. Sorry, we got the real dark stuff out of the way in the beginning.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
A little
that's a
less
lot.
crazy.
We like to rip the Band-Aid off at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's for the best.
I need a drink now.
Wow, that's very heavy.
Even knowing all of this information, there was no way to prepare the officers for the sight that was waiting for them. The only bits of color in the shop were the burned flesh of the victims and the little bits of their clothing and fabric that had not been completely incinerated. Everything else was black and covered with soot, and smoke filled the air. Based on the scene, investigators believed that there were probably 2 perpetrators. Unfortunately, the fire destroyed most of the evidence, but they did find 2 different types of shell casings. One was a .380 caliber and the other one was a .22 caliber. Later on, they were also able to find a small sample of male DNA on one of the girls. It is believed that at least one of the girls were sexually assaulted during the crime, but since all 4 girls were minors, detailed information about what investigators knew happened have not been released to the public. Some things are also kept private so that police can avoid false confessions in the future. Throughout the investigation, police looked at nearly everyone as a person of interest. People as close to them as friends and family were looked into, as well as people as far removed as known drifters in the area. They also talked to customers who patronized the yogurt shop the day of the incident to see if they had witnessed anything that they might deem suspicious.
Everything is suspicious.
Don't be
Yeah,
suspicious.
literally.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
There were 2 men who looked out of place, according to a few witnesses. They were sitting in a corner booth at the shop just before it was due to close. None of the other customers in the store remember these 2 men purchasing yogurt, only drinks. And they were kind of like leaning over the table, really close to each other, talking quietly, like they didn't want others to hear what they were saying.
Super
The 2
suspicious.
Super suspicious.
This is accounts from other like customers that were in the store.
Yes.
during that. Okay.
The 2 men, the witnesses said, arrived together in a greenish car. One was said to have short, dirty blonde hair and was about 5 feet 6 inches tall. And the other one, and that one also seemed to be in his late 20s or early 30s. And the other one was just described as being, quote, bigger. Whatever that means. Both were wearing big coats, one of which was black, and the other an army fatigue style coat.
Sierra, what the hell does that mean? Because when I read
Fatigue?
that in the notes, I was like, what is army fatigue? Like
It's
camo?
Yeah, it's like camo, but it's not like going hunting camo. It's like army camo.
Okay.
You know, there's a difference. Army camo
Apparently.
is like browns, and hunting camo is like it actually looks like leaves. Like this is hunting camo. It looks like trees.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like the woods.
Right. And I don't have anything over here right now.
Army fatigue is like your traditional camo.
Yeah, it's just like swirls of color.
And like I think it changes in the year, like
The
where
terrain.
where they're fighting. Because like if you're in the Middle East, it's like tan and shit, and then if you're in like the jungle, it's like green and shit.
Yeah.
I'm an expert on
Green
army.
shit.
Clearly.
I had no idea what that meant, and I Googled it, and it was like all like army plaid clothing. So I was like, I don't think that's what they mean. Like a military uniform? Maybe not.
Yeah. In the Navy, we had blue camo. So
Oh.
You were in the Navy?
Because the ocean.
Really?
ocean. Yeah.
I just made that up.
Yeah.
I was asking the young lady. I was asking the one that I wouldn't be rude to.
No, but I'm saying it was blue because the ocean.
It was blue, and then people petitioned, like, why is it blue? Because if we fall in, you're never going to find us. So now it's green.
Ah, smart.
Well, yeah, but the ocean has seaweed.
Fall in,
Yeah, but why
you're
do
never
camo
going to
in
be
the ocean?
found. That's dark.
People fall in often.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The
Oh my
ocean
God,
is my worst nightmare.
Do one true crime story about a cruise ship. Like literally people are
Oh,
just
God, they're so
diving
scary.
off the sides of cruise ships into the ocean. It's really scary.
Yeah. I'm good on cruise ships.
I mean, like, I'll do it.
Yeah, so would I.
Just like,
You know, they have, like-
at all.
Right.
They have like morgues at the bottom of the ship, just in case.
What ships?
The
Cruise
Navy
ships.
ships.
No,
Oh,
not
what?
Navy ships, cruise ships.
What?
Oh my God.
Yeah, cruise liners. Because if something happens, what are you going to do with the body? You got to
Right.
put it in a morgue
I've been on
Can't put it in
one
the
cruise.
kitchen.
How did I not know that?
because you didn't die.
But would I have known it if I died?
Your ghost would.
Your ghost might have known.
No, my ghost would show up at Dana's house and open her vacuum.
I, you know what? If you showed up here as a ghost, I would be like still pretty freaked out, but like less scared than random little boy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to go check it out on their episode.
Yes.
'Cause it was pretty creepy.
Yeah. We're not sure what that was about.
Okay, back to this awfulness.
Yeah, stop joking around, idiot.
Witnesses said that one of the men asked to use the restroom in the back before closing. Usually the restroom was just for employees, but that's a shitty rule, and the girls were nice girls. They weren't going to stop someone from using the restroom if they have to use the restroom. Of course, from this incident, we can now remember the wise words of women and true crime lovers everywhere, and fuck politeness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because there's a pretty good chance that that man, if guilty, took full advantage of this politeness by jamming the back door in order to prevent an escape from the crimes he planned to commit later.
Shit.
Ugh, that hurts my heart so much.
It hurts my heart too. And this is all speculation that I read in my notes because with fires and stuff, smoke causes things to like seal up almost. So it's either possible that they couldn't run because of that, or it's possible that it incinerated whatever they used to jam it, and we will never know.
Yeah.
So there were no like real adults there? Like
No, 17-year-olds.
The two who were working and closing at 11 p.m. were 17. And one of the workers' sisters was 15 and her friend was 13. And they like came to hang out with their sister while they closed.
oh my God, that's so
And this was extra terrifying. My first job ever was at Dairy Queen. We closed at 11, and I was the oldest 15 when we closed at night. Like my brother would ride his bike there, and then we would walk home together after my shifts.
Oh my God.
But I'm like,
Where did you grow up? The Wild West? What the hell?
just in
Canada,
Vancouver.
people are a lot nicer. Everyone will apologize after they kill you.
But if for whatever reason my brother wasn't at his friend's house, it was down the road, my parents would put my bike in the back of their car and bring me home for the night shift. I would just ride my bike there.
Grew up
So
in the 70s.
safety first, apparently. Yeah.
Canada has just been in the 70s for a really long time.
Right? I think about it afterwards and I'm like, I was like 14. What? Yeah, it's scary.
So the two creepy men were the last two customers in the store and were locked in with the girls. The couple that left right before the two confirmed that it was just about 11 p.m. when they were leaving, and they saw the two men still sitting there, and the girls locked the door behind this couple as if, you know, they were giving a message to both these two men inside and also people outside, like, no one else is going to be served. We're closing up. This is probably the time you should leave.
Out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a move in fast food for sure.
Yes. The information given to officers by witnesses was very helpful, And it was even verified by investigators at the scene who noticed that only one table still had napkins on it, like it wasn't cleaned up for clothes as all the other ones were. That was the same table where witnesses saw these men. Even if they were innocent, they were definitely the last people to see the girls alive, and police needed to find them. Sadly, this is all investigators would ever know about these men.
Oh, shit.
No further information came, and the police were unable to make identification. Taxicabs and buses and billboards were put up asking for any information that would lead police to find the girls' killers, and a reward went from $25,000 to $125,000 after donations from the community. But still, no one would ever collect it. There were a few times that police thought they were close to finding the killer. In one instance, 2 men in Mexico were arrested for unrelated kidnappings and sexual assault charges. The arrest came not long after these murders, and one of the men matched the description of the creepy customers in the yogurt shop on the night of the murders. The 2 men denied any involvement, but then later confessed to Mexican authorities. But the information they reported did not match the details recorded from the crime scene. The men later recanted when questioned again. The issue wasn't pushed any further as it was obviously a false confession since they didn't have the correct information. I don't understand why people falsely confess.
I don't either.
Don't think I ever will, unless, like, in some cases, like, maybe we'll see later, people are, like, pushed too hard.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I just, like this next one, for instance, I don't fucking get it. Kenneth Mcduff is a known serial killer from the area, and he allegedly confessed to the murders just before his execution in 1988. But investigators ruled him out too because he didn't have any information about the murders except stuff that was already released to the public. So police believe it's very likely he was just trying to take credit since the murder was 4 teenage girls and that was his victim type. Like, why?
That one sounds like, to me, like it sort of would make sense to confess to something like that just for like the clout of it, especially if you're a serial killer and you like think that that's a cool thing to be. Like,
I just feel
I
like
can see that.
I feel like it was never a cool thing to be until recently, right?
Yeah.
But it could be that he confessed to it so that they would give him a stay of execution to investigate.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
To give him a trial for that new crime.
Right.
You know what I mean? And extend his life a little bit.
Especially such a massive, like, well-known crime. Like,
yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. We're keeping Kenneth close to our chest because we might cover him one day. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the closest police have ever felt to finding the answers came in 1999, 8 years after the murder, when new eyes were put on the old case and old leads were re-examined.
Robert Springsteen, Michael Scott, Maurice Pierce, and Forrest Walburn were only teenagers at the time of the crime, much like our murder victims. They had landed on John Jones's radar early after one of them, Maurice Pierce, was arrested with a .22 caliber gun at a mall near the yogurt shop 8 days after the murders. During questioning, Maurice claimed that he was just driving the getaway car and that his 3 acquaintances, Forrest, Michael, and Robert, were the ones involved in the murders. But during intensive questioning, for example, Michael was questioned for 20 hours.
Yes.
His story quickly fell apart. Investigators had Maurice wear a wire and talk to Forrest about the crimes, but it was clear during their conversation that he really didn't know what they were talking about. And I don't know if this was like a move to make himself seem cool or what. I'm really not sure. All of the men were questioned, but subsequently released due to lack of evidence. And as we know, guns in Texas aren't uncommon, but it definitely didn't help that he was carrying the same type of gun as the murder weapon, or one of the 2 murder weapons. But now, 8 years later, the new eyes on the case were determined to solve it, and they thought that these 4 boys were the answer. During the re-examination and interviews, which was probably more than a little forceful, two of the now men, Robert Springsteen and Michael Scott, confessed to the yoga shop murders and implicated Pierce and Welburn in the process. All four of them were subsequently arrested following the confessions. But, of course, it wasn't long before Robert and Michael recanted their confessions, saying that they were coerced into making them. The charges were ultimately dropped against Maurice and Forrest due to lack of evidence. However, Robert and Michael were still sent to trial and they were both convicted. So that's what you get for falsely confessing. If you're not responsible, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, after 20 hours, like, I'd be like,
Exactly.
Right.
To get out of there.
I couldn't find any information about how long Robert was interrogated for, but I did see in our notes that, Michael was there for 20 hours. Like,
think about the Amanda Knox case we did.
Yeah.
They falsely confessed because they were like, get me the fuck out of here.
They were there for days, though. But yes, I totally get what you mean.
They also, like, say that shit where, like, oh, you'll get to go home or you'll get this or you'll...
Absolutely.
Tell us what you need to hear.
Yeah, kind of fucked up that they can just say whatever they want to. And,
But I wonder if you can just, like, sleep. Just, like, lay down on the floor and sleep.
I mean, like, you can be like, this is what... Not to,
Can
like,
you imagine? You're like, I'm tired. We're going to take a break. I'm going to take a nappy nap right here.
Yeah. Like, best legal advice there is, am I under arrest?
Right.
If the answer is no, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Like, they cannot hold you there.
Yeah.
And the fact that they, like, hold people and just keep them there and, like, you think you have to stay because you have to listen to authority. Like, am I under arrest?
True.
If the answer is no, I'm going home. You can fuck all the way off.
And usually
Especially
you're
if you're
not under
innocent.
arrest until you confess.
Yeah.
Right. Like, do you have a lawyer? Never. Nothing. Don't say anything.
Has
Ever.
anybody seen the new Spider-Man movie? Listen to MJ, okay?
Yes, always listen to MJ. Always.
It's crazy to me that's allowed, even because you're like sleep deprived and like hungry, thirsty. Yeah, you do strange shit. So
it's like a torture tactic. It's
absolutely. Yeah. In 2006 and 2007, both of these convictions were overturned on constitutional grounds. The Sixth Amendment gives defendants, quote, the right to confront accusers, and in their trials, the defense used their confessions against one another without allowing them to question each other in court. In other words, they didn't have their right to a fair trial, is what I gathered.
Yeah, these people are fucking assholes. You're already taking all the other rights away.
Right?
God damn it. Sorry.
We're done.
Don't be. You Sierra warned me. She's like, your part's a little bit longer, but I have some things to say. In preparing for the retrial 10 years later, prosecutors knew that they were going to need more than just these confessions from these men in 1999 when they were a lot younger. So they ordered DNA tests on the vaginal swabs taken from the victims at the time of the murders. As we said, investigators believed that at least one of the girls had been sexually assaulted, and prosecutors wanted to take advantage of new DNA testing.
It was new 15 years ago.
Yeah,
so it's like,
know. As a
not new
result
anymore.
of the testing, a partial DNA profile was obtained from one of the victims, but the DNA sample did not match any of the four men who had been arrested. Now,
it didn't match anyone.
We recently did a bonus episode on Patreon about chimeras in humans, and Sierra totally turned our world upside down in terms of DNA testing. So,
yeah, DNA is not 100% scarily enough, and it freaked me out.
Nothing we know is true anymore.
Some people can be born with more than one DNA sample, and it's just, part of errors in human.
They're chimeras, right? They're their own.
Yeah.
So they'll have one person can have one strand in their mouth, but a different strand in their leg, like of DNA. And then another thing is, if you donate bone marrow is meant to regenerate DNA. So if you donate bone marrow, the person who receives it will have your DNA as well as their
Wow.
own DNA.
Yeah.
Fucking scary.
I had a very good friend have cancer, and she had gotten chemo and like all of this radiation. She was like talking to me about the radiation and how it changed like the cell and all of this DNA stuff. And I
Yeah.
was like, but did it change your DNA? And I was like, you have to ask your doctor immediately. Like, and she was like, I'm
Yeah.
not asking my doctor that. I'm like, but if you committed a crime before
Yeah.
you had chemo, and now you had chemo and radiation, are you now not the same? I have to know.
Yeah, the
Science
person
is
who
weird.
I hope
The
your friend
person who
was
they're
okay,
like-
by the way.
the person who they're like testing. Sorry, she said
Oh.
she hopes your friend is okay.
Oh, yeah, she's good,
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
The person who they're like making the guinea pig testing through this chimeras and stuff is a police officer, like an investigator, and he
Oh.
had a bone marrow transplant, and his sperm is now the DNA of his donor.
Oh my.
Like his
God.
cheek is still him, but his sperm DNA is his donor's DNA.
So if he had a baby,
He
it would
is.
be genetically the donor.
No one knows because he had a vasectomy before he got the transplant.
It must
The
be reversed.
idea
No,
would be
for some-
then, yeah.
Right.
It must be reversed.
It must be.
We have to create a new human. I need to know the answer. This is crazy.
Yeah, it is super crazy. And the craziest thing to me when we were looking at it is a lot of people with sickle cell issues get bone marrow transplants. And so a lot of people who have sickle cell issues are people of color. And a lot of people who are wrongly accused are people of color. So, like,
Oh my God.
their DNA might not even
Sarah
be their
broke all of our possible theories for life.
It hurt my
Oh
brain.
God, I'm never gonna
I'm so
stop
upset
reading.
about it.
In all future episodes of Crime Diner, that's going to be a possible theory. But what about chimeraism in humans? Okay.
No one knows. DNA isn't even 100% anymore.
I know.
It's scary.
Oh, I hate it.
That is the thing that, like, you know, if we growing up or, you know, in the last 20 or 30 years watching forensic files, and every episode is like, but the blood spatter evidence, I'm like, yeah, obviously, it makes perfect sense. And they're like, yeah, that's like a bunk science now. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
what? My whole childhood is based on blood spatter evidence.
But the charges were still dropped against Michael and Robert, and they were released from prison after spending 10 years behind bars in June of 2009.
10 years.
If they had nothing to do with the murders, they lost 10 years of their lives. But why falsely confess and put away the resources from actually solving this case?
Because police suck.
And
That's the answer.
Yeah, or because they were bored and being dumbasses. We don't know.
I mean, yeah, that's a possibility, but I still like to think the police forced them.
I
mean,
yeah.
I did cover a guy who was really into S&M, and he falsely confessed because he liked the idea of being tortured in jail.
Oh, okay.
So-
That's a move.
Yeah. And then he died because he electrocuted himself having sex in the jail cell. So, I mean, it's a thing.
I need more information on that.
What episode is this?
He like pulled the light cord out of the lamp in his cell and like put it around his nipples and his penis, and then he plugged it in and was, he electrocuted himself.
I'm not going
And
to
he-
kink shame, but be safe first, people, okay? God damn it. God damn.
Yeah.
No, sir. No.
No words for me.
Yeah. To me, I feel like these guys just pulled away from the case in one way or another, whether that be because of police or because of their own dumbassery. And the two men responsible were likely the two identified men from the booth the night of the murders.
Definitely.
According to the investigators on the team, quote, "We have no names to them. And when you look at it, when you step back and when you look and you think they've talked to more than 52 people and didn't miss one person from 4:30 until 11 o'clock that night. And several people talk about a guy or two guys and they describe them in the same manner. And we don't know who those two guys are. they've never called in, and that raises, in my opinion, suspicion that these are the gentlemen that did it, end quote. As far as what was reported, these two mystery men were the last people in the shop with other than the girls. The organization of the murders and the arson following point to a more experienced criminal rather than 4 teenagers at the time, which were the ages of Maurice, Forrest, Robert, and Michael.
Yeah, also the witnesses said late 20s, early 30s.
Exactly. So if these guys were between the ages of 17 and 19 at the time, I don't think you're being mistaken for being that old.
Yeah.
Right. So then if those two guys would have had to have left the shop, and then the teenagers that knew, whatever,
Right,
would have had to come to it just doesn't make sense that.
Yeah, and if the two people
them.
sitting at the booth didn't do it, why haven't they come forward? Like, we're the people that were sitting at the booth. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we just really wanted a soda. We were thirsty that night. We weren't digging the frozen yogurt. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I think also that like investigators were under pressure to solve the case because of the high publicity in the town, all of the donations that were given to people trying to find answers to this. There was, like Sierra said, billboards and posters on every cab, bus, everywhere. Like it shook them. And
yeah,
even the lead investigator on the case still looks into it. So it's like, I get it. They were under severe pressure to solve it. So
every police officer is under severe pressure to solve cases, and not every police officer forces people to falsely confess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or gives a shit who really did it.
Right, you just want to close the case.
Yeah.
But I have a theory.
Let me hear it.
Theory.
I have a theory. So one of the girls, let me guess, the one that had the DNA inside her was 17-year-old, right?
We don't know which one. They haven't told us.
We don't know because they were all underage.
So,
yeah.
Let's say that she had a boyfriend and they slept together the night before. And let's say that, why are you holding your face? I'm just saying, like, that's a possibility.
And it's true. Sperm lives inside of that environment for X amount of time. So.
Right. So let's say that those 4 teenagers did indeed meet up with the girls, to like flirt or talk or whatever as they were closing, and they did commit the crime, just for shits, just for sakes of because why else would they confess and and have details?
Right. So what happened to the 2 guys that were in the store?
Maybe they just left. They were just like, oh, they're closing up, and then they just left.
They're getting
maybe they were just like
back. We need to get out.
So I'm just saying, like, maybe those kids did do that, and the DNA that they found didn't match them because the girl had a boyfriend.
Oh, you mean she slept with her boyfriend or something?
She slept with her boyfriend, and
I mean that could be. She could have hypothetically slept with her boyfriend, and those 2 guys still could have done it.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
I mean, who's to say?
But I'm just saying, I'm explaining the confession, the reason why the boys confessed
and
falsely,
then the DNA
and also pointed the fingers at each other, because they didn't just confess; they were pointing the fingers at each other.
Right?
They were making confessions for each other. So that's like not just a coercion kind of thing. That's like I was there, and like they're each pointing the finger at each other.
Right, but none of their stories like matched. Like say one person did it, and the other 3 would be like, that guy did it. You know what I mean? Like, you would think if one of them actually did do it, that at least the other guys would like corroborate that in a way. You know what I mean? I don't just feel like they were innocent. Like the kids were innocent.
I did too,
like
but they are guilty of something, Alicia.
Yes.
Next paragraph.
Yeah, whether or not. Yeah, I can't speak for the other 3 guys, but in 2010, during a traffic stop that turned into an on-foot chase with Maurice Pierce, a cop named Frank Wilson was able to catch up with him, wrestle him to the ground. Maurice pulled out his knife on the police officer and stabbed him in the side of the neck.
Yikes.
Frank responded by pulling his gun and shooting Maurice, killing him. Frank Wilson miraculously survived these injuries, and if Maurice did know anything about the murders, unfortunately, he takes that with him. So, yeah.
He wasn't perfectly innocent.
I mean,
They're
and this
definitely
was
not
the same
perfectly
one that
innocent.
said that he was driving the getaway car and was pointing at the other three. So, I don't know. Maybe
Well,
this
I'm saying, like, why
particular
would you
kid
confess
was
to
just a
driving the getaway
troubled
car?
kid. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. He definitely, I mean, kids are kids, and I mean, they had a gun when they were fucking 15 years old in the mall.
which
They
is
weren't good kids.
Not okay.
Doesn't
But
every kid in Texas have a gun?
Probably.
it's true.
That's
You're
why
not
we
supposed
said
to, though.
guns are a thing there. So it's not
Yeah.
to say
Um,
that not every 15-year-old has a 22 caliber gun.
Well, I fucking hope not, because that's illegal. But just because, you know, they're bad kids doesn't mean they're sexual
Murderers.
assaulters and
Yeah.
murderers. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
sure.
It's hard.
It's hard to say. I hope.
I mean, for me, it's definitely easier to see like two creepy old men. I've made them old in my head also.
being
creepy
responsible.
men.
Yeah.
Yeah, sitting in like lurking in the corner, and they like are just like grimy, you know. Like,
Was the yogurt shop robbed?
No.
I believe it technically was, but I think they said they only kept like what, $200.
Yeah, something
in the-
stupid.
They didn't get much.
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it was more to look like make it look as if it was staged, because initially when dispatch called in the call, they said it was a robbery gone wrong that had turned into a homicide. But I mean, are you really going to risk getting caught for
I think it was two
$200?
pedophiles.
Like, I think it was just, absolutely two
I think
assholes.
that
But then on Nydia's theory, it's like if they are able to test this DNA sample that they have left one day, I hope that she's not right in the sense that it won't match anybody because it was one of their boyfriends. Like,
that
I
is
hope
definitely a
that's not
possibility
true.
too. Yeah, I think that the two younger girls, the 15 and the 13-year-old, were hanging out at the mall before they came to their sister's shop, and some creeps followed them from the mall.
Ooh, that's a good possibility.
Yeah,
because the mall that Maurice was caught at was like, what, 8 miles from the yogurt shop? So
I think it was less than that.
I think it was probably less too.
Yeah.
We're spitballing.
Because, you know, maybe they didn't plan to do this whole thing at the yogurt shop. They came in there, followed the girls in, were waiting for the girls to leave, but then they never did.
Yeah, not knowing that their older sister and older friend was there. And that's what they were waiting for. And it would have had to have been 2 people too, because it's like, they're teenage girls, but I think that 4 teenage girls would be able to overpower one asshole. That's just
they're definitely
not with a gun.
More than one person.
Yeah, unless they had a gun or something.
Yeah, I think they probably staged it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the dudes probably staged it as a robbery. Like, I have a gun, give me your money. And they were like, okay, sure, here you go. And they were like, just kidding, get in the back, and did some worse things. Because my mom works at an ice cream convenience store, and they're trained that if someone asks you for the money, you give them the money.
I think
it doesn't matter
this on an episode. Yeah,
it doesn't matter if they have a real gun or they have any gun. If they say, give me the money, you give them the money. Let the police deal with it. It's not your fucking job.
100%. Your minimum wage does not pay for your life.
Yeah.
My wife works at a bank, and she says that even if they just slide you a piece of paper to give, and it says, give me all your money, you just pack it up and let it go.
Yeah.
And
insurance will cover it.
Sound the alarms until after they're outside of the building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's sad because we've heard of true crime cases where people do fight it and they're like, no, oh God. They do fight it and they're like, no, like, I don't want to get fired. I don't want to lose my job. And then they're killed because of it. So
don't be a hero.
Yeah, friendly reminder to all of our younger listeners that are working in these environments, or people that aren't, like Sydney's wife. Like, just give the money. It's not worth it.
Yeah, pack it up nice and neat. Take it with you. You want it in a box, you want it in a bag, how do you want it?
Yeah, do you want a bow on it? I'm good either way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your life is not worth it.
I'll just throw it across the room.
Like, go get her over there.
You can take your firearm over there. That's where the money is. Get out. John Jones, the lead investigator on the case that Sierra mentioned earlier, has since retired, but he's still very much committed to solving the case. His home office is filled with clippings and information surrounding it. And the biggest hope is the small amount of DNA that remains that they were able to pull, because remember, they already tested a little bit before that. So investigators are saving it in hopes that this new DNA technology, as it comes, they'll be able to test it again in their database and find the perps responsible. As of 2022, with so many other cases being solved with DNA technology, investigators feel even closer than ever to solving this one. So we just wanted to end this on a little bit about the girls. I do want to say that it was really hard for me to find information about them, given when it happened and the nature surrounding the case. Yeah. But I wanted to end it with what little I could find, because it's about them, ultimately. So Eliza Thomas was described as being caring and animal lover and was very close to her younger sister, Sonora. Sonora said that she was always taking care of her growing up. Eliza had a pet pig that she was planning on entering into a livestock show prior to her death, and her sister really tried to pick up where her sister's life left off and entered him for her. I couldn't find anywhere to say whether or not what the results were, but I just thought it was very sweet. Sonora was quoted as saying, "I remember fantasizing for days that my sister had somehow escaped and run away and was hiding. I was constantly fantasizing that she was going to come back," end quote.
That's so
and
sad.
Sonora was 13 at the time that her 17-year-old sister died. Amy Ayers was her family's second child, second to her older brother, Sean. She was raised in Texas and developed a passion for country music. She was most known for having a love of the country music legend George Strait. Maybe you've heard of him.
I have.
In addition, she was also an animal lover who loved cats in particular and was always kind to everyone. 30 years later, Amy's brother Sean and her sister-in-law, Angie Ayers, still celebrate her birthday, often making a cake at home or sharing a restaurant dessert in her honor.
Oh,
That's so sad.
Right? I would do the same
sweet
thing.
at the same time.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah, I would do the same thing. Jennifer Harrison was very involved in her school's community. In her final year, she was president of the Lanyard Chapter FFA, district vice president of the FFA. She was also a member of the Lanyard High School track team, and she and her younger sister, Sarah, who were also murdered in this case, were very close. Sarah was very athletic as well and was on both the basketball and volleyball teams at her school. The girls were both born in Texarkana before moving to Austin with their mom following their parents' divorce. Tragically, the Harrison family lost both of their children that day and missed their girls deeply. The only thing that brings them any amount of comfort is that they had each other in those final moments.
ugh.
Yeah, I know. Oh, cue the lump in the throat.
Yeah.
A $12 million settlement was given to the families of the victims, and the SAGE Foundation, standing for the letters of their names, Sarah, Amy, Jessica, and Eliza Foundation, was started to teach kids about the safety in workplaces, much like we discussed just now with, you know, if somebody robs the place, you just give them the money.
Yeah, all of those things were put into place after.
Tragically. And I mean, these girls were closing in pairs, which is a safety mechanism, because much of the time fast food restaurants hardly. But much of the time fast food restaurants at 11 o'clock at night aren't busy enough to keep two people there, but you do because so I know that some places and some murders have happened because people are there by themselves. So that was one of the rules that was put into place as well following that foundation. So, and that is the aforementioned famously known yogurt shop murders, or the murders of Amy, Jessica, Sarah, and Eliza.
Still unsolved.
Which is
Wow.
bananas
Yeah.
after all of this time.
Well, you know what? The story was definitely food for thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food for
No
thought.
pun
yeah.
intended.
No, never.
No.
We hate puns. I just wanted to say, tell us where they can find you.
You guys can find us anywhere you are listening to this magical podcast. We are right there with them. You can also follow us on social media. We have Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And we also have our website, twistedanduncorked.com. You can go check out all of our other stories and cases and crazy photos of shit that Sierra has shared and ruined us with. No, lots of fun. We have like over 100 episodes posted. So go check them out.
Nice. And they are Twisted and Uncorked for you to search them out. That's it for us.
I was also going to say they are actually also members of Dark Cast Network along with us.
Oh,
Yes!
I saw that. I saw
We
that
were both accepted within a week of each other. So much fun.
Nice. So that's it for us, and we'll see you next week. But in the meantime, subscribe so you don't miss out. And also subscribe to Twisted and Uncorked. Don't forget. We have merch, Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee. You can do all of those things for us. Write a review and share with someone, anybody with a pulse, really. And you can connect with us on all of the socials. We're literally everywhere, including Facebook. They're not on Facebook because they're young girls.
No, my Facebook
I'm on
got
Facebook.
hacked and I can't
I'm on
access
Facebook.
our account.
Oh, she's on Facebook.
She's not on Facebook.
All right, so they are on Facebook.
Our
All
account
right, so check
exists.
you out next week. And remember, do not be taken to that second location. Be good or be good at hiding a body. Cheers.
Are you okay? Jesus Christ. You're so fucking loud. You're disgusting and I hate you both.